Hey everybody, we called Charles mid sip. It's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Me and Charles are really excited to create this dream fantasy cast for MTV's The Challenge. We're so happy
Yes.
you all are here with us again tonight. Charles, how excited are you to pitch this cast to MTV tonight? Because we're going to
Uh,
tag them when we're done.
yes, we are. And we really hope that when somebody watches this video, they really take our suggestions into consideration because we are both avid watchers of the show. We didn't just start the past couple years,
Right.
we've been watching the show for a long time. So our archive of people is great. And the fact that we review it, it's just long overdue for us because we've talked about it off camera about like really if we had our way, how would it be? And I'm really excited about it because I know who likes who. I know who got beef with who. I know who I want it to be competitive. And yeah,
And you
I'm
want it to
excited.
be entertaining.
Very much
And
so.
right. And I didn't go all the way back in the archive. I kind of kept my list of people who I think would actually be young enough to play the game. Is that no shade in saying that?
No, that's understandable because on my list I do have some people from like the OG seasons, but these people are still into fitness, still
Right.
doing their thing. They
I do
might have
too.
kids, but I feel like they would if you gave them a ring, they would be like, "Okay."
They would say okay. Okay. Well, let's get into it. I'm going to give a few more people to jump into the live. I'm going to start off with a topic that we've talked about plenty of times, which is the upcoming season of the Real World Homecoming. I found a current picture of the New Orleans cast because there's been like, which New Orleans is it? It's these people. This is, I guess, New Orleans part one. These people went first. Again, I don't have their names. I ain't dig that deep. I just wanted you all to see which New Orleans we will be talking about upcoming. And I'm excited to see what beat they had because Charles, you remember that cast? I don't remember them at all.
I don't remember them. I remember that black guy. That black guy looks familiar, but everybody else, no clue.
Right. I think that might have been my college days when we didn't have a DVR. So I probably I missed that season. But hey to everybody in the chat. I see Marlon, Zuda. Hey Michelle, thank you for my hair. You see the difference a hair appointment to make. My hair was looking a mess last night, Charles. A mess. But Dabu,
I
Eric,
didn't mind. I didn't mind your hair last night, but you know my favorite hair was the slick back black with the extra pony in the back, girl. That's my favorite one.
I'll be switching it up so much. I'm gonna try to keep it this for a minute because I already got a whole new style. But this ain't got nothing to do with my hair. Let's jump into our fantasy cast. Hey Stormy, I see Stormy out there. We're gonna break this. Did you all do y'all homework? That's question number one. Was the homework completed, or are y'all guessing on the fly? We shall see. Charles, did you do your homework? Because we know how you do.
Oh, I did. I did my homework. We. This is like I said, long overdue. I even went back to see people's like records and
You see, I
you
didn't
know
do
who
all
they
that.
had beef with because
Hmm.
some of these like the brawn category is very easy, but with the brains I had to really dig like okay, so which one of these is good at puzzles? And yeah, so
Okay. Well, we're going to start with the brains category because we feel like that's the hardest category to feel. We feel like those people could trickle down into others. Then we're going to go to beauty. Then we're going to go to brawn. So, up first, in the brains, let's start with the men. I'm really interested to see who you pick for the men for the brains. For my brains category, I have bananas. And remember, brains is people's strongest suit is politics, puzzles, strategy. They use their mind to
okay.
maneuver through the challenge. So I picked bananas because I think he's probably one of the best political players to get,
Hmm.
manipulate votes. I have Wes because Wes is my rookie whisperer. Then, of course, I kind of threw in Devin because I felt like if I put too many heavy hitters, I don't want a lot of strong. Like I want a couple of layups in my cast, so I threw
Hmm.
Devin in there, and then I pulled somebody from All Stars who I think could still represent on the main stage, and that's Nehemiah because I love saving the palace.
Okay. So it seems like one person we can go ahead and mark down is
Okay, let's.
Johnny Bananas,
Okay,
because
Bananas is the first male brains.
I also included Johnny Bananas on my list of brains. Like you said, brains comes down to strategy. Bananas, when he's in the game, he usually runs the house. So
Mm-hmm.
that's our franchise player right there. If we can get Johnny Bananas to come back on the season, I feel like the fans would really enjoy that. Another person on that list who seems to be his little arch nemesis, someone that did not like him very much, wanted to come for his crown, was Devin.
Yes.
Devin is also on my list. So we have those two people in common, Johnny Bananas and Devin.
Okay. I like Devin because we never really got to see the end of their rivalry. Kind of like how
Mhm.
Devin and Josh went back and forth and now they're straight. We never saw that pan out with Devin and Bananas.
Right. And I think it's great with building the cast. We need to have some rivals. We need to have some people that maybe he beat you in this little lights,
Light
lights
bright.
out, light bright competition, and you
Hmm.
can't keep riding on that victory forever. So I definitely want to see Bananas and Devin on a season again together.
Well, who
Now,
are the other two that you had?
so there's really one in particular that I really put in this category. I left the other one up for discussion, but the one person I picked was CT. I put CT in the brains category because he's dad CT now. He's uncle CT now. And people aren't really afraid of him physically. But when it comes down to the puzzles, when the math problems in a final, no matter who's partnered with CT, that girl is going home with a crown. CT of the recent years has been the puzzle king, the strategy, the he might not do a lot of manipulation politically, but when it comes
Hmm.
down to those puzzles and those games, CT for me, I think even better than Devin is the king of the puzzle right now.
I understand your thought process with that. And CT is on my maybes list. Like, he didn't make any categories, but he's someone who, even though I think production rigs it for him, I think I would like to see him play again. But a big part of Brains to me is strategy. Like, yeah, he can do the puzzles, and that's like maybe 30% of the Brains team. The big part of it is strategy. And right now, CT's game is to sit back, let everybody else fight, and let me get to the final. Like, I'm gonna be neutral. I ain't voting for you. I ain't voting for you. So to me, that takes CT out of the running. And CT, even before he became dad CT, he wasn't a political player. He was Brawn. People were just scared of him. They knew he was going to show up, win. I've never seen him as a political player of the game. So that's why I didn't put CT. But who was someone else you had before we settle on number three? And I'm just
Um,
putting some of the picks up here so you can see. And nobody picked CT so far for brains.
well, I did see somebody say they will replace West with CT or somebody
Yeah,
else.
I
That was the
did see
first
that.
comment.
Yeah.
Um, those were the three that I highlighted because I really didn't. For me, with the men, I didn't have four. But to come back to you had Wes and Nehemiah.
Hmm.
If you had to only take one of those, which one would you take? Do you think Wes would be more important to the cast or a Nehemiah um, to your dream
I feel
cast?
like I have so many other heavy hitters in the other categories. I would like to give Nehemiah a chance because we haven't seen him in a while, but we've seen what he can do on All Stars too.
Right.
So I would give that chance to Nehemiah.
You guys in the chat, let us know. Would you rather have Wes or Nehemiah come down
Now,
to
here's a
our
name.
number three?
that someone is throwing out. What about Frank? Frank is the old school player. I
Um,
personally wouldn't put
he's
Frank
not brains.
in the
He's on my
brains.
list, but he's not in brains. He's not a brains. No.
I agree.
Um, yeah, no, definitely not.
And a lot of people are saying CT is Braun. CT is Braun. So we have to pick. I don't see anyone saying anything about Nehemiah. So we need two more. I saw a lot of people throw up Jordan in brains category. What do you think of Jordan?
Nope, Jordan's also on my Dreamcast, and he is not in the brains category. Um, if you're thinking about guys that when they get into the house, we do have the strategic house energy with a Wes or a Johnny Bananas. But even with Devin, to me, Devin's not political or a strategist. To me, Devin's good at puzzles. So,
Devin has done some political moves like him or not. And even sometimes Devin's moves may not work. He does try.
if I had to pick between Wes and Nehemiah, um, I I don't really care for Nehemiah. That's just personally. And personally, I feel like Nehemiah will only succeed if he has the palace. So if we did cast Nehemiah, we would also have to cast two or three other people from the palace for his season to make sense. Um,
Okay, so let's put down Wes because I think a lot of people can agree on Wes.
mhm.
And Nehemiah is kind of like so far a veto. Someone who's on my maybe list that we didn't bring up, who was supposed to be on this past season, was Wendell from Survivor.
Okay, if we're
What do
doing
you think
rookies, I
about?
would definitely
We
include
can do a
Wendell.
couple of rookies.
I would include Wendell.
What do you all think about Wendell from Survivor if he was to come to a season of the challenge and he could be on the Brains team because he's very political to me.
I agree. If we're gonna put a rookie in, this would be the time to do so, and I would say Wendell over Nehemiah. I would pick Wendell over Nehemiah.
Okay. I see one for Polly as the Brains. Y'all know I'm a Polly fan, but Polly is not in my Brains category at all. But let's just write down Wendell for time's sake. We can always make adjustments at the very end. Let's jump over to the ladies in the Brains category. You go first and tell me who you had.
All right. So for my ladies, for the brains, we have to have. There's two ladies for sure that
Mm-hmm.
I would need to have on a brains team. Number one is Sarah Rice. I feel like Sarah is a great overall, one of the best overall female challengers, and she is very smart, whether it comes
Mm-hmm.
to her relationships or puzzles and those things. She is great with puzzles. So for me, Sarah is a no-brainer. The other no-brainer for me is Ashley. Ashley is phenomenal with numbers, phenomenal with puzzles. People like to sleep on her of recent years because of her lack of like physical capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to strategy and puzzles, Ashley is up there with Sarah. Those two are my brain girls for sure. My next one for me, she is both of these. Well, I don't even know who I want to. I'm gonna say one for sure. The other one is a maybe. I'm gonna save her for later. See what you say. But one, she is big. She is domineering, but she is a strategist. It's Laurel. Laurel is like 6'4". She is strong. She's intimidating, but no other woman is like a lioness in that house like Laurel. Laurel plays that house like a Johnny Bananas or like a
Mm-hmm.
old school CT, I guess you could say. Yeah.
We have a couple of those in common. We can definitely go ahead and write down Ashley. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely had Ashley. And another thing I wanted to say about Ashley, even though people might think she's weak, Ashley is not weak. And I think in a partnership setting or even on a team setting, Ashley is a top performing female. So I definitely like Ashley. And we had Laurel in common. I love Laurel. I think I agree she's a lioness of the house, but I feel like we have so many more that if she was to get into a house now, she wouldn't have that intimidation factor because a lot of these women can take her, I think. Like a Casey, a Jenny. I don't think a lot of people are really scared of Laurel.
On
But
the physical end, you're saying?
yes,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because she just used to be so much bigger, but they're casting a lot of big girls now. So there's some
Yeah.
people that can take Laurel.
Well, she's definitely
Um,
political because she has her notebook. She was
the
known too for
originator
having
of the notebook.
of the notebook and writing stuff down and getting alliances together. Laurel definitely, when it comes to that, that's that girl.
And Laurel didn't get voted into elimination for her notebook either. She gladly and proudly walked around the house taking her notes and holding court in meetings. So
Hmm.
those two we can agree on. I had Cam, and I know Cam may be like a wish because we know she's not coming back anytime soon because she's pregnant. But Cam is coming back, and if they ever do this season in the time frame when she comes back, Cam to me has to be on the Brains team.
I don't mind Cam. I have Cam on my list, but I have her as a Brawn. Um, all of Cam's wins and eliminations have been just because she's physically stronger than the other female. Um, so I really see her as just like the physical. She's a beast physically. I
But
know
Cam in
she.
New School Challenge, Cam has come up with some of the best votes and strategies in how to manipulate voting. And you know how there's always every season the voting isn't the same. So every season Cam finds a way to find the loophole in the system to get the votes to pan out her way. Some of the biggest votes
Um,
of all the seasons she's been on is like when her and Kayla, not Kayla, but Kay Lee
mhm.
started that fight in the kitchen with Sylvia and Kyle to make it seem like they were going to vote for them, really to manipulate everyone to burn votes on each other. Like that was genius.
um, well, yeah. If you want to include her, that gives us more space in the Brawn category, which is what we need
Agreed.
anyways.
And
So
a lot of people, I haven't been touching the chat, but a lot of people are saying Cam, Sarah. I see Anissa out there. I ain't never seen Anissa lead a vote. She always the one getting thrown in.
it has to be Sarah. I'll take
I
Cam.
agree with Sarah. I agree with Sarah. Stormy says Cam relies on her strategy more than kills them with the brawn if she needs to. I agree with that.
Hmm,
Cam is strategy first, but she's also a beast in elimination if she has
I don't
to.
know. I don't know about that. We've only really seen Cam be strategic in one or two seasons. Cam does a lot of laying back with her man in the house. she did a
Are we
lot of
watching the
she
same show?
she's done a lot of laying back until it's time to talk about who we want to vote in. Cam has not really been the camera girl or like she's not a Wes. Like when it
One
comes to like
season she
really
narrated. That last season, her and Leroy were on together. They were the power couple, and she was like the narrator
yeah,
of that season.
that's in confessionals, but when they actually show them walking around, Cam is mm-mm, no.
Well, we have to compromise.
Yeah, but
So
I agree. I was like, if we did, of course, need to make space for the Braun category, and to be honest, brains is slim pickings. So, I do hear
it
what you're
is.
saying about that
You
vote
kind of have to
flip and
push
like
some people up.
yes. So I think of the women, I do think Cam has the greatest potential to be a mastermind of the game. Yeah.
Okay, so on the female side, we have Ashley, Laurel, Cam, and Sarah Rice. I like those picks. So let's move
Yeah,
over to
that's some
that's a
strong women in
strong
one group.
that's a strong team. That's a
Yeah.
really strong team. Let's move over to the beauty category. Beauty, these are the people, I don't want to call them layups. They're good players. Some of them could be beast, but they don't have too much political energy in the beauty category, they aren't winning daily challenges, even though they might win some eliminations. They aren't the ones who go into the tribunal or become the power people to vote people in. Like the beauty people are just the pretty people who are there. They might be known for some hookups or two,
Okay,
that's what
see,
I
I picked my beauty. I didn't pick my beauty people for that. I picked my beauty people for their attraction, like actually being attractive people. Because to me, just because you're a layup and get passed around, don't make you beauty. I picked some people that have one eliminations, one dailies. You can't sleep on
I did
them,
too. I
but
did too.
they are like to me like
They're
gorgeous,
beautiful
handsome
people.
people.
Right.
Yes.
We were saying the same thing just differently.
Nah, you were saying they was layups and just floating. I was like,
No, I said they aren't just layups.
I
Like,
ain't
I
putting
don't
no
think I
nannies
picked
on
any
here.
layups.
And
I didn't either. Let's go through the names. I didn't pick any layups because I want each team to be competitive. So I didn't pick any layups. Let's do the girls first this time on beauty. I'll go first this time. I picked Jenna, who is the Barbie Beast. I picked
Mm-hmm.
Angela, who we only seen on the challenge one time, but I thought Angela, I don't know if you remember her, Angela and Faith, that duo.
I don't remember Faith. I remember Angela though. Faith is a
But I
black
like,
girl, right? She's
yeah,
black.
Faith is the black
Yes.
girl who was hooking up
Hmm.
with Kyle.
She left early, I think. Right?
They left early, but they came back in redemption, and then Faith hurt her arm punching through the wall, and they got sent home. But I thought they were a really strong team. I think Angela is really strong, and I would like to see her compete again. Of course, I reached back to War of the Worlds, and I picked up Georgia from the UK, and then I like Tatcha from this past season. So those were the four I picked.
I
We have all
don't.
different.
I'm trying to think about my response because I don't want to say I don't find somebody attractive, but there are just people that okay, so we have one in common.
All
We
I'm
both
gonna say
said
is this: don't mess around and get all them Tatcha things in your comments if that's the one
we
you
both
talking
had
about.
Jenna in common. She's the Barbie, the Beast Barbie or whatever. So Jenna
Hmm.
was one that I put on here. I think a lot of people find her attractive. She's blonde, she's, whatever, and she's also surprisingly good one on one. So the
Hmm.
girls would sleep on her. Um,
So I think we can go ahead with Jenna. She's
Jenna.
agreed upon.
One of my other women I have is Davon, one of the most beautiful women ever to be on competitive reality shows. To me, I don't care what nobody say. To me, Davon is drop dead gorgeous. I have Tori in this category. Tori brings all the boys to the yard, and I don't care what nobody say. Tori brings all the boys to the yards. There is something about Tori. There's something in the honey that brings the boys that brings the boys to the yard. So I think if we're talking about beauty, um, I feel like Davon and Tori need to be in that conversation along with Jenna. And I also have, this is my maybe because I don't know if she would actually come back to the challenge. I put Bailey on here. To me, Bailey, she's a beauty queen, but she's rich now. So, you never know if the rich women will come back to get their hands dirty. But I think she would be a great addition to the cast.
They say you right about Tori, they be obsessed.
Yes. And we have to have, that's the thing too about the beauty. The beauty, they're gorgeous, but they need to be competitive with the brawn and the brains. So I picked women that I feel like Davon can hold her own. Bailey definitely can. Tori can most of the time. And Jenna sometimes can hold her own. So I'm like, okay, I want a competitive show. I want a competitive cast. So
I want a competitive cast too. Tori didn't even make it in my maybe pile just because this is for Angie only.
ew, take this
She's
comment
someone.
off the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just leaving names up there. Um, Tori is someone I need a break from, so I didn't want to cast her, and so I would like to see a couple of seasons without Tori because Tori has become entitled. Like, I should be able to go into eliminations against a layup. I should be able to make it to a final for this. I like Tori has become so entitled in the game that she's irritating to watch. And so I just don't want to see Tori on my screen. But one person, Davon was in my maybe pile. So I
Hmm.
would gladly put Davon on the paper. We all know Davon is going to be on the upcoming season of X on the Beach. So I'm
Hmm.
happy to see her on there. So maybe since Davon is willing to come back to MTV in that capacity, it might just be a short leap for her to come back to the challenge.
Right.
So
And to be honest, I saw like if you watch her videos on YouTube, she was like if she comes back on any reality show, it would be the challenge. She feels
okay,
like she
good.
has her best legacy on the challenge, and
She
she had a
does.
she's good at those competitions. So
She's good
I
at
feel
the
like
competitions and she doesn't have to put too much strategy into it. Where, like on Big Brother, no shade, her strategy is usually wrong. So, I mean, that was all shade, I guess,
right,
but
but I'm telling you, if I had to say the most beautiful woman, number one on my list is Davon.
I love
Before all
Davon.
of the other girls is Davon. So yeah.
But we still have two more spots, and we are very on the opposite ends of who to pick. Let's throw out a couple of names I saw. What about Brittany, the one that used to date Brad? She's very beautiful, very social. She will give us a good TV show. Okay, no.
Next.
Well, what about Georgia or Angela?
I don't find Georgia
Georgia
beautiful.
is a competitor.
I, um,
Okay,
I would
well,
take Bailey over Georgia.
I would love for Bailey to come back, but I know for a fact Bailey isn't gonna do it. Now, maybe if Davon comes back, maybe Davon could persuade Bailey to try it again.
If we could have them two and Cam on the same season, girl,
You talk about the palace.
this would be a good show. I'm telling you.
Well, let's
We
this
go
our fantasy show. Let's write it down, Bailey. Go ahead,
we're
Bailey,
gonna
and
have Bailey,
come on
Davon,
over.
and Cam
It would
on the same
be
season.
a legendary season. We have to come up with a fourth person. And what about Kayla, Jenna's friend? Jenna's gonna need an
Nope.
alliance.
We said beauty.
Kayla is beautiful. Like, what is your standard of beauty, Charles? Damn. Kayla is beautiful. No matter what you think about her, she's beautiful.
We said this is the beauty category. So we have Davon, Jenna, Bailey.
Who else on my maybe
Mm.
category? I don't have any more beauties on my maybe
And
category.
she just shot Tori off the cat. Tori ain't invited. She ain't coming.
What about Natalie from Big Brother?
We can do
Natalie,
her. Yeah.
she's a competitor.
She's beautiful.
That's going to be a very Big Brother heavy squad.
Right. To be honest, I feel like we would have to either have her or Bailey because I don't want this to be the trio over again.
Oh, this is a good one. Kaylee. Kaylee is beautiful. Is her name Kaylee?
The
She's
British
from the
one?
UK. Yes.
No. Oh my gosh, please.
Well, Charles, just start naming some girls that you think are beautiful.
We might just have to come back to that one. No.
Okay, we'll come back.
Y'all are just picking random people y'all thought of.
Now you can't deny Nani, and MTV does love Nani.
Yeah, I would definitely deny her access to this season.
Okay, we'll revisit this like that question on the test that you really can't figure out, so you got to work on the other problems and
So do
hope.
you want to know the four fine men that I have coming to this
Okay,
show?
yes, go into the men.
The four fine men that I have coming this season. Number one is Joss. The girls love Joss. Joss has the eyes. He has the
Let's make sure
body.
we get that os and not a
Us,
osh.
us,
Yes.
Joss. He has the looks, the body. He can compete with the best of them. Joss is
Mm-hmm.
one there. Number two, we have Darrell. Darrell, to me, even with age, his face is gorgeous. Cheekbones, all of it. The complexion, Darrell is gorgeous. He's a champ, and he's still able to compete. Number
Yes.
3, I have Victor from Big Brother.
Hmm.
He is baby. He might got the wrong wife, but he is fine. Still back then and today. To me, Victor to me was one of the most attractive men on Big Brother, and he needs to come back to the challenge for his second season. Number 4, I have Kenny. Kenny from way back in the
Kenny is banned. He'll never come back.
first 2 seasons of the challenge. I have Kenny on my dream cast of the challenge. Did you say Wes was going to be there? Because if so, him and Wes have beef, and I would love to see that
Do they? That beef
rekindled.
is over a decade old. These people in their 40s, they ain't still beefing.
You don't know them. You talking like you know them.
I just know somebody that's in their 40s. I'm not still beefing over something that happened in my 20s. I'm not.
Well, those are the 4 fine men that I would cast on my dream season of The
Okay, so we're
Beauty.
already going to delete Kenny because no matter what, he'll never come back on the challenge. So the
Mhm.
people we already had in common were Joss. He definitely goes on there. He was actually my number one pick as well. And I also had Darrell, so we can go ahead and put Darrell on there. I also had Kels from, he got voted off last. Kels is fine. Now, your version of fine may be different than mine. I like me a nice, tall, big football player looking man. So I want to see something I like too.
That don't make you fine because you big and big,
That's what
big
make
and
you fine
bold.
to me. That's what make you fine to me.
Okay.
We got to have a variety of fine. I also had Corey on there on the list under beauty.
If I will give you Corey for beauty, and don't even try to make it seem like mine's were one note. All 4 of the men I said are 4 different flavors, so they're very different. But the one you said just does not make the cut. Not
Ugh,
for me.
I have to have Kels on another season. That's why everybody like two different versions of fine. Okay, we have a couple of Leroy Nelsons and Ryan. I don't remember
Girl,
Ryan.
she said Leroy.
Leroy is handsome.
Oh my God, pick y'all 4th person because y'all are. We just have different. Yeah, different. We're
We
very
do.
different.
We'll come back to that one as
Hmm.
well because I still want to fight for kills. Someone says Theo, but I have Theo in another category.
Yeah, I have Theo up somewhere else.
Let's get into Braun because it seems like we both have Theo in our Braun. Do you want to go first for the men on the Braun side?
Yeah, so I wanted to leave it open, so I picked 3 men for Braun to see what you had also. My 3 men for Braun, I have Theo. I want
Mm-hmm.
Theo to come back. And he has tweeted about wanting to come back, and he's ready to come back. Um, Number 2 for me is Jordan. Even with one hand, a lot of the boys can't compete with Jordan, and I'm ready for him to come back. And I need him to be on the same season with Tori. We need the drama on camera.
Tori didn't
Number
make the list.
number 3, I have Frank. I have Frank as Braun because out of all the LGBT people on the show, Frank is probably the best male competitor that the challenge has ever had. So yeah,
Okay.
those are my 3 men that I have for my Dreamcast.
I will admit the way I did my homework as well, I left Braun last, and it was kind of hard for me to fill in where I wanted. One we only have one in common, and that's Theo, because I
Mhm.
definitely want to see Theo back on my screen. So we'll just go ahead and write him down. I had Polly. I'm gonna forever want Polly back on my TV screen. So I had Polly. I had Leroy slash Turbo because I didn't know how Leroy would do it. But if Cam comes back, why not Leroy? And then I had Fessy only because I would like to see Fessy on a solo season. As you know, I don't have Josh or Casey anywhere on my list. So I was like, I would love to see what Fessy would do if he was there by himself. How would he adapt? So those were the other three I had.
And since y'all didn't accept CT being in Brains, I guess he can be my fourth in Brawn. Um,
That's one that was
CT.
on my maybe list. So I'm willing to put CT there. It looks like we have a good mixture of old school and new school. So let's put CT here. What do you think about Polly? You know, I'm a Polly fan.
Um, I'm not sure about the relationship Paulie has with MTV, but we know Cara is already trying to leverage her popularity and her relationship to get him back on the show. They're not going to bring Paulie back without Cara. So,
It's a
unless
good
we're going to
thing
go,
Kara is on my other side.
unless we're going to automatically put them both on, Paulie's not coming on by himself.
So is that your way? That's your way of saying Kara isn't on your female side.
No, Cara didn't make the cut.
Okay. Well, this is kind of off the fantasy. I kind of feel like from what I've been watching on social media that Polly and MTV are close to being at the middle of rebuilding a bridge. So I kind of feel like in another season or two he might make a return. So what about Turbo?
I'm okay with Turbo. Will Turbo be disqualified for going crazy? Is he on
I
good
don't think
terms with?
so.
Is he on good terms with MTV? Like, what is? Because Turbo has not been back, so I feel like
I
if
think
they
it was
really
his
were on good
choice.
terms with Turbo, Turbo would be back already.
I think it was his choice not to come back. But who else do we have? What about Fessy? We still have Leroy. I'm willing
Uh,
to put Jordan on the list.
Jordan is on my list. Jordan and Frank are the two people that I have that you don't got.
I like those two. Let's put Jordan and Frank because I would like to see Frank come back.
Right. Let me get
And
my one LGBT representation.
well, you have some more. They're on the other side of my list. I'll go first. I have so many people on the bronze side of my list for women because there's so many women I want to see back. So I'm just gonna pick my top four. I had Cara. Of course, I have to have Michaela from Survivor. I have Rachel, who I think is an old school player that could play currently. And then I want to see Lolo crazy ass back.
Oh
I
my
want to
god.
see Lolo back.
Angie got a drama season. Angie just picked some crazy people just to come back. Um, okay, go ahead and talk about them. Talk about them.
Cara, I mean, I'm willing to sacrifice Cara since Polly can't be on the list. But I always like Polly and Cara together. I think they're both great competitors. Cara, I definitely want to see back on my screen because I think she has a lot. I think the game with Cara would be so much better on the female side. We have so many layup females. We need to get back to casting women who aren't scared and who are champs. Michaela. Michaela is not a strategist. Michaela is beautiful to me, but Michaela is Braun. Michaela is, I think, a sleeper beast who did not get an opportunity to prove herself last season by getting thrown in over a notebook. Um, Rachel is also someone who, I mean, she looks exactly the same. For her to have played over 15 years ago, she's still in the exact same shape, if not better. She's a beast of a competitor. She's another woman that will put some of these people like a Laura or a Casey to the test. And then Lolo, you can't deny Lolo. She is the definition of a female Brawn, and Lolo is just the amount of crazy I need to have an entertaining season.
I only agree with one or two of your picks. Um,
Which one?
the one that I have in common with you is, of course, my girl, Rachel.
Michaela.
Rachel,
Rachel. Oh,
of
okay, I'm
course,
gonna put it down.
Rachel is my number one. I don't know why you were shocked by that. Rachel is my number one female pick of the challenge. So she was my number one. I agree. Um, I agree with you about Cara because of her legacy and because We do want a competitive cast. If you really want to bring her back, I wouldn't hate it. I understand it. The other three women that I have are Natalie from Survivor. I have KC from Big Brother, and I have the beast that hasn't been back since Champs versus Stars, Emily. Emily does not lose. So physically, she still does CrossFit and all that stuff. So to me, if I could have a Rachel, Casey, Emily, and Natalie all on bronze, that's my female military right there. I don't need nobody else.
Well, I absolutely, positively will pay money not to see KC on my screen anymore. I don't want to see KC, period. She's not going to do it. This would be the worst season for KC because KC relies on being attached to somebody like a Nani, like a Josh, to get her camera time because she does nothing individually to be a star on television if it's not winning a daily challenge. Like, I'm not going to take her strength away from her, but KC is the absolute snooze. And on a season like this, where she doesn't have her Josh, she doesn't have her Nani, she's not even going to have Fessy, will she get up out the bed and socialize with anyone? So many other personalities are bigger than hers. The one person I will agree upon, I got to ranting about KC and forgot the one person. Oh, Natalie from Survivor. I love Natalie from Survivor. So we could write her down. Now we have to negotiate.
Not really. Go ahead and put Cara up there. You can do that. So we got Rachel, Cara,
I guess
Natalie,
Cara.
and you can put who else
What
you have
about
on there?
Jenny? She's a champ.
You talk about snooze. You
She is a snoo. Okay, I
Jenny don't
can't
do
rant
nothing
about
in the
Casey and
house.
not you right. You right.
Casey has way more connections and way more everything than Jenny. So
Well, what
and
about Michaela?
we're gonna keep sleeping on
You didn't give me Kel, so can I get Michaela?
sure. You gonna write it down.
So the only other missing slot we have is our last beauty on the men's side. What about Jose? Then you can have two LGBT.
If you want drama, sure.
He gonna have his friend Davon. That'll be some good drama.
Yeah, but I don't want this to be a Big Brother show. You keep picking big
We
people for
only
Big Brother.
have one Big Brother, two. Well, see, I
There's
put Bailey
there
on
are
there, but I
literally
don't.
4 Big Brothers on Beauty. We don't want this to be a Big Brother show.
But let's look. Can we really erase Bailey? Because we know Bailey isn't coming back.
You can, sure.
So let's put in Jose. And who can we reasonably put in Bailey's place? I don't see why we can't put Kayla or Nani there.
I would never cast Nani on the challenge. You better put Tori before you put Nani. You might
You
have
know
beef with
what?
Tori, but
You know
Nani is
what?
not you want competition, but you want to put Nani over Tori.
No, I'm going to agree with you. When I look at this overall cast, for the sake of the story, I can see Tori being there because we need to see Tori and Jordan lock
Yes.
eyes after the end of this engagement. And that's kind of why we should have Fessy there so he could look at both of them sideways.
Mm, Fessy's not gonna do anything about it. Nothing really came of that.
Right, because
But
they ain't really claim no relationship. But I need to see Tori and Jordan interact. And I think that might be just the ultimate wish because I think I've heard Jordan said he would never do a season if Tori was on it. But that would be good. That would
I
be good.
agree.
I'm gonna put Tori there. I think If MTV could ever pull this off, this would be a great season. We have on the Brains team to refresh everyone's memory. I've heard a lot about this Kenya. Who is Kenya? The only Kenya I know is on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Why are you letting them distract you? We got our
Because
cast.
no, I've seen people put Kenya in the chat throughout. Like I haven't put up all the chat. And this is
Let
like
me
the
look
third
at
time I've
who this
seen this
is.
name. I don't recall a Kenya being on the challenge. Tell me what season Kenya was on. And oh, Are You the One? She was on Are You the One? I don't watch that show, so I don't know her. Was she ever on the challenge?
No.
Okay, so I don't know Kenya, but maybe I might get to know her one day. But let's refresh our list. This is what's going out to MTV, or we just gonna tag them in this video. On the Brains team, we have Bananas, Devin, West, and Wendell, and that right there is like turmoil within the team. That's like rivals and teamwork all in one. On the females, we have Ashley, Laurel, Cam, and Sarah Rice. Very strong. Beauty, we have Joss, Darrell, Corey, and Jose. A little bit of spice and drama there. Jenna, Davon, Tori, and Natalie from Big Brother. On the Brawn side, we have Theo, CT, Jordan, Frank, Rachel, Natalie from Survivor, Cara, and Michaela.
If I would replace anybody, I would replace Natalie from Big Brother. If
With who?
anybody on this cast, I wouldn't want two Natalies on the same season.
I wouldn't either.
Um,
That's awful as a reviewer. It's
I
awful.
wouldn't want two Natalies on the season, and I also feel like she would be an early boot in the competition compared to the other women on the show. I think she would be one of the early ones to go home.
She would be the first girl that they would throw in on the beauty team. Um, who would you replace with Natalie? I'm still throwing Kayla out there. Um, put
So
Lolo
who
there
are our beauty women? Are Davon, Jenna,
and
Tori,
Tori
and Natalie.
from Big Brother.
So three of those I had written down. What were the ones you had written down?
For beauty, I had Jenna, Angela, Georgia, and Tatcha.
Let me look up Angela's record again. I feel like she had one elimination and she lost it.
No, she won a couple. They won a couple of eliminations because I want to say Angela. They took out a heavy hitter. Angela and Faith.
Angela Babizic was her name? Babizic?
Don't get me the line.
The one that used to be with Johnny Bananas?
Yes.
Yeah, it says she only has one elimination and she lost it. But we can pick her. She is pretty.
Okay, that makes it easy.
But she does bring the drama, so that'll be good for TV. So
She
yes, let's
will.
pick her.
Bananas will be there. See
Yep.
them look each other in the eyes. Okay, I think that's a great cast.
Yeah, I like her better than Natalie. Mm-hmm.
Agree. And like you said, that takes away some of the Big Brother. So this was a lot of fun, Charles. I kind of want to do this again in about 2 to 3 weeks. I was thinking, have you seen the news about the challenge is going to expand on CBS and they're going to do the challenge, all them countries, Argentina, Japan, UK. It's one more, I don't forgot, Australia. Then they're going to do a challenge, CBS. And then the winners from those challenges are going to compete in a War of the Worlds. Have you heard that news?
I heard it. I don't know how well it's going to go, but good luck. And good luck with that.
Well, what I want to do next is, since the challenge is going to do a CBS version, we could come up with a cast list. It doesn't have to be teams or anything, but like a list of 24 of competitors from the various CBS shows like Survivor, Big Brother, Love Island, Amazing Race. That can be the next one we come up with and see if we get any of the same picks that they pick.
Okay, let's do it. I'm down.
So here's some more. I guess these are some themes they want to see us do next as well. They want us to do real rivals. That'll be interesting if we do a little bit of research and put together a rivals squad. That'll be interesting. I'll write that down for a future one. Generation warfare. What? I guess that's old versus young.
Millennials versus Gen X. I don't know.
It could even be I'm Gen X, you're millennial
Right, that's what I'm
versus
saying.
Gen Z. But I'm saying add
They
that
don't have
Gen
no Gen
Z.
Zers on the challenge.
Is what is Gen Z? Is that my
Gen
son's
Z is
age?
like 19
Okay,
year old.
that's my son's age. So is it Gen Y? Like who would be like the 25-year-olds?
Millennials. 25-year-olds are young millennials.
They can't be because my sister
Yes,
is a
they are,
millennial and she
Angie.
about to be 40.
Millennials are between like the late 30s and the mid 20s. There are old millennials and there's young millennials.
That might be shady, but I guess you can't argue with what year you were born. So
I'm right in the middle because I'm 30 now. So I am a true millennial.
you're a millennial, I'm a Gen X.
Right. So maybe that's what they want. They want the Gen X
Gen X
versus
versus millennials. Then Charles, we gotta go look up people's birthdays.
just Google it.
Oh, they said it's easy. Do like season 1 through 10 versus seasons 20 through 30 versus seasons 31 to now.
Mm,
Yeah, but
nah.
they mix up the ages. But this was fun. I think those are two good ones we can do in the future. I don't want to make this too long because I really am going to tag MTV in it and I want them to watch it. And I want them to get to know us, me and Charles, as people who do work for MTV. Well, not work
Right.
for MTV, but reviews for MTV, and that, you can come to us if you want a little bit of MTV talk. I feel like real MTV talk, like
Right.
conversationally.
If you're still this far into the video and watching, you should know that we give you the unfiltered, real thoughts that the people are thinking while they're at home. There's no point of getting critique or tips from someone that's just going to give you scripted, dry
The cliff
response.
notes from the producers. Like, you
Right.
don't want to hear the production's cliff notes. You want to hear the real opinions, like
And
what we
this is a
really
show we
think.
all love. If this is a show we all love, we want to make it better. That's the end goal. The end goal is to make the show the best
To
show.
keep watching it. Like, we don't
Right.
want it to get canceled because after last season,
Because there's no kissing ass for the show to get canceled in 3 years. We're not doing that. Mm-mm.
agreed. So thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, I don't want to make it too long. We will be back in a few weeks to do this again. This was a really great Friday night chat. Still have time to go watch Celebrity Big Brother. Go
Drag
see
Race is
part,
coming on now.
and we could watch Drag Race. Everything comes on Fridays.
Mhm.
Everything comes on Fridays now.
I'll look up some cast and producers and see who we can email this to.
Okay.
We'll see.
And then again, if you do watch Drag Race, I'm out of town this weekend. So Charles and his mom will be doing the review tomorrow night on Charles's channel, Charles Warren Online. Check that out. And I'll be back next week for the next episode. I'm so mad because this is the week T.S. Madison is on.
Yeah, but it's probably
Crap.
gonna be dry.
You don't know that yet. We gotta watch this. But anyway, me and Charles will talk about Drag Race offline. You all have a great evening. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, share it. Let MTV see it. Share it, and we'll see you all for the next one. Bye.
Peace.